Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be reviewing another 18650 cell. This time it's going to be the KeepPower 18650 cell, and it is a 3400 milliamp hour cell, as you can see right here, and promising to be a protected cell with actual NCR 18650B, which is the Panasonic cell internally. Now, if I get 3400 milliamps out of this cell, I'm not going to be taking it apart. And if the protection circuit works correctly, I will not be taking it apart either. I just don't see any reason to destroy something that's performing perfectly. But regardless, this is the cell I'm going to be reviewing. And it's promising to be a value priced 18650 3400 milliamps protected cell. Now, what I mean by value price is you can get two of these at Amazon for $20, actually $20.99. So they're about $10.50 each, and that's a pretty decent price for a 3400 milliamp protected cell. So I'm going to put it through the charger, see what kind of performance I get from it, and then I'm going to check the protection circuit. And on top of that, I'll show you how to reset the protection circuit after it gets triggered. The first thing I wanted to show you, because I was impressed with it, was the packaging, or how it was sent to me. So basically it came in a little brown box, as you can see, and that was okay. But when you open it up, you see that it was packed in a nice foam cutout piece, and that it's in a protective plastic case as well. So that was a bonus. So let's just take it out of there, and as you can see, it's nice to have one of these plastic cases to carry it around. It protects it, keeps it from shorting to anything you put it on, and it's a double case, so you can put a second cell in here without any issue at all. Let's go with our O-light here, and there you go. Now you got a protective case for two of your 18650 cells. So nice little bonus that you got this with it. So let's take these out and compare them. And one thing you need to know about these protected cells is that there's a protection circuit on these batteries or cells that's either at the end. Usually it's at the negative end. I've seen some now that have them on the positive end too. And what that does, unfortunately, or without any actual option, is that it increases the length of the cell. So here we have a standard 18650 unprotected cell. You can see that it's shorter than the rest of the other two protected cells. Why? Because of the protection circuit. So if you have a battery, an application for one of these cells, and you're sensitive to how long it can be, these may have may create a problem for you in length, because they're about a quarter inch longer than the actual unprotected cells. So, but in my case, even my cheap little flashlights like this one, they have an internal spring inside. I don't know if I can show you that or not. Yeah, can't really see it. No, the spring's actually on the cap right here, and that allows me to adjust for the length on the battery, so there's no issue there. And I'll show you that. I'll put the standard unprotected cell. You can see how much space is in there, and you can see that there's a bit of give to it because there's a spring mechanism inside. And on the KeepPower, you can see how much more room it takes up, but still, again, because of the spring in this cell, or in this flashlight, it allows for that extra length. The other thing about it too is that it is slightly thicker. You can see the fit here is very tight around that, and if you put this one in here, you'll see that it's not quite as tight. So if you're like I said, if you're in an application where it's super tight, to an unprotected cell, and I would say that the protected cell is going to be a problem with fit. But hey, try it out, see how it works for you. So I just wanted to show you that in the length department. Otherwise, the two protected cells are exactly the same length, no issue at all there. They both have a button cap, and this one looks a little like the KeepPower. I've chewed it up a bit by putting it in and out of my battery holder. So this is what it should really look like that, and this is what it looked like out of the box. I'll show you what it looked like out of the box, because I have an Orbtronic, which is, I'd say, identical, and you can see there that nice shrink wrap around the top, minus the goop there. There we go. and that's the way it looked out of the casing. I would say, comparing the Overtronic and the KeepPower, that they're almost identical. Now, another thing too, you'll see that I dimpled out the button top by forcing it into the battery holder that was just a little too tight. So again, you get into that issue of length. If you have something that has a length limitation on it, it's going to be really tight in there. Okay, so compared to the Overtronic, other than the gloss on the actual shrink wrap, which the Overtronic has and the KeepPower does not, they look identical, really. And just one more thing here. Let's go zoom in on this so you can see what's on the actual printing on the actual device, which is, kind of telling. There we go. KeepPower protected lithium-ion rechargeable battery. Of course, the positive and the negative is correctly labeled. The 18650 3400 milliamp hours, 3.7 volt, 12.58 watt hours. Got the part number there, the version number, various environmental stuff. And then we have the cell and IC made in Japan. Okay, the reason, well, obviously the protection circuit and the actual 18650B, NCR 18650B are made in Japan. So you're not going to get a Panasonic NCR 18650B made anywhere else. They're all made in Japan. So they state that here, and then they say assembled in China, and then they have the the web address. Okay, so basically what they've done is taken this NCR 18650B, which I have one here for you, and again you can see that the NCR 18650B is the unprotected cell here, and so therefore it's shorter in length. But there it is, what it looks like, and it is always made in Japan, as you can see there. So good news, right? But like I said, we've seen lots of Chinese hoaxes, and you can put a sticker on anything and ship it. So next thing we're going to do with this thing is we're going to actually test the power output on it, to see if we get the 3400 milliamp hours in discharge, and I'll show you the curves that we get with 1 amp and 2 amps in the discharge modes, and we'll go from there. So here's my overview screen on my ChargeMaster program that's plugged into my LiPro charger, which is the Turnigy AccuCell 6. I've shown that in other videos if you want to see that. And you can see here that I've got 3400 milliamp hours on the discharge at 1 amp. I did this discharge chart is showing you what it does at 1 amp draw. And you can see that I went down to 2.52, actually went down to 2.51, and I'll show you that on the charger in one of the screenshots anyways. But regardless, you can see I got 3447 milliamp hours, which is great because that means it's delivering 3400 milliamp hours as promised, actually a little bit more, 3447. So very happy with that result. We'll take a look at the next slide here. Here's the amperage charge, and you can see that it went right up to 1 amp and just basically cycled through 1 amp all the way down to the almost the 12,000 second mark, which is 3.3 hours or 200 minutes. And then it just started discharging down to the minimum amperage point there, because the charger knows when it's getting near its capacity, and it starts feathering down the amperage that is going to the battery. So that's what that looks like. So we'll go to the next chart here, and this is the voltage curve, and you can see how it all, basically the performance of the battery over time here. Again, you can see again just short of the 12,000 second mark, you've got basically down to 0, or where the 2.51, where the charger starts saying, oh, okay, we're done. But you can see here a few things here to note. I charged this cell all the way up to 4.20. The charger didn't pick that up, but I did take it all to 4.20. And then on discharge, you can see that it drops very quickly down to about 4 volts. And then, straightens out and basically is a straight line all the way down to about 3.3 volts. And at that point, it starts accelerating downwards to 2.51, and where the charger says, okay, it's done. So at 1 amp, you get a pretty nice curve here. But one of the things to note here is that if you fully charge and discharge this cell, you should get about 500 charges into this cell. So if you don't fully charge the cell, you don't take it all the way up to 4.20 and down to 2.50, you'll extend the life of the cell. You'll be able to charge it if more. I don't know how much more, but more. So looking at this curve, I don't really see any point of going past 4.0 volts, but because you lose that 4.20 so quickly that there's no point going full charge here. And if you look down here, you'll see that you get a little bit here, but you could really easily stop using this cell around 3 volts and not really get that much of a loss in energy here. So you could go from 4 volts to 3 volts on this cell without much issue at 1 amp. So this is the 1 amp curve. Let's take a look at 2 amps to see if it's made any difference. And let's actually go back here 1 second. Oh yeah, it's 3447 is what I got on this one, a milliamp hours at 1 amp. So let's go take a look at the 2 amp. And at 2 amps, this is my overview screen. You can see I got 3464 milliamps. So I got a little bit more at 2 amp discharge rate. Excellent, an excellent result for sure. Again, I don't know why my program does this, but it says 2.52 volts. It really does go down to, I did take it down to 2.51 volts. And so, no idea, just a little bit of an issue with the software, I would say. Let's go to the next screen. And this is the amperage curve. And you can see where it starts at around 1.27 and increases the amperage all the way up to 2.0 up here. And at 7,600 seconds, it actually just starts dropping off to almost 0 amps here before it's done charging the cell. So again, a slightly different curve, but that's because I'm using 2 amps instead of 1 amp. Let's go to the next screen, and this is the voltage curve. Again, I show you this again because see how quickly it drops from 4.20, actually a little bit less than 4.20, down to about 3.7 volts here before it actually starts curving out and flattening the actual line here. So again, don't see a real point of going above 4 volts in charging this cell, but you can. And you can see it's pretty well a straight line all the way down to about 3 volts, at which point it starts accelerating downwards to the 2.51 point where the cell is actually fully charged. So again, delivered exactly what it said it was going to do. 3.467, I believe. 3,464 milliamp hours. Perfect. So the cell is actually delivering exactly the amount of energy it's promising, actually a little bit more. So I'm very happy with that. So far so good. I'm going to test the protection circuit and see how it works. First, I'm going to, over discharge it. In other words, take it below 2.50 and see where the protection circuit actually cuts the charge. And then I'll show you how to reset that. I will also test it to see on overcharging to see how it performs with that as well. And also, I will short circuit it to see if it actually stops the short. I set up a program here called Protection Test Discharge, and as you can see here, I have the end voltage on the discharge to be 2.29. That should trigger the protection circuit on the cell, on the KeepPower, and let's see if it does. I'm going to choose that program right there, that, and hit start on that and discharge it to hopefully 2.29 and triggering the protection circuit. And there we go. It says check connection. What that means is that the protection circuit popped open. So now we have an open circuit, and the battery is no longer delivering any power to the charger at all. As you can see there from the meter, which is at 4.9 millivolts. So basically no energy there. So here we're going to hit OK. And we know it works. And we know it triggers around 2.30, as you can see here. Let's do the full screen on that. And you can see that it just right there at 2.30, it said, see ya, you know. So perfectly, you know, what it's supposed to do is when you're undercharging, it's supposed to trigger off and cut the circuit. So now this, if you put this battery into a flashlight, it wouldn't work at all. So you have to reset the protection circuit. Now, generally, that's pretty simple. If you have a normal Nikkor charger like this one here, hold on. This is the IntelliCharger i4. All you'd have to do is put that cell into that charger and start charging it up. That'll reset the actual circuit. And let me put that back there. There we go. That'll reset the circuit. Now, if you don't have a charger like that, you have one like mine, then what you need to do is go back into the program, and I'll show you how to do this. Hit stop. And what I did basically here is that if you go to any of the charging programs, like let's say the one I have for my eFest here, and hit start, you get the open circuit check connection. So as far as the charger goes right now, or is concerned right now, this charger doesn't have a battery in the holder. So reason for that is the protection circuit is open. So you know, here's how you trick it into actually accepting a charge. And the way you do that is to change the mode to PB, which is a lead acid battery program. I have it preset here by going to, there we go, protection reset. If you look at the programs, you'll see a protection reset PB discharge, and hit edit on that. You'll see that it's basically the default settings. We go back here, and the thing about the lead acid program is that it doesn't check the battery before it starts charging it. So it just sends a charge to the battery and then resets it. So we'll hit here start, and I'm going to let it go charge up to about, I don't know, till the voltage goes to about 3.5. You know, maybe doesn't have to go very long, maybe 20-30 seconds. So just stop here. Let's hit stop. And now let's try and do the discharge test again, or just the charge test again. eFest charge, there we go, lithium ion. Hit start. And you can see that it begins charging the cell without any issue at all now. That's how you reset the cell inside the LiPro charger. You have to cheat a little bit and send a little bit of energy into it without the charger actually checking the battery. And you can see here that it's now working again. Hit stop. Now, there are other ways to reset the cell other than putting it back into the charger. I'll show you another little trick that I learned while investigating this, and you know, it works, and it's a little crude, but it works. And you know, so next I'll trigger the protection circuit here. So let's do the protection test here. All right there. Start. And we'll let it trigger again. And after it's triggered, I'll show you what happens to the cell. Basically, it's a dead cell because it's an open circuit on the protection circuit. That's how it protects it. And there you see that it just said check connection. So that means it's triggered. It's now an open cell. If you look at the meter, you'll see that it's saying 0.3 millivolts, basically nothing. So that's an open battery at this point. I'll show you a real basic way to reset the protection circuit just using a wire and another cell. All right, let's test this out again one more time. As you can see, basically 0 volts. So that's an open circuit. There's nothing there, right? So we need to reset the protection circuit in that. And a basic way to do that is take another cell, and I'm going to use another protected cell, but you don't need to use protected cells. You could use a non-protected cell here and get the same result. So you can see here. So basically what we're doing is we're going to put the positive to the positive together, the two nodes together like that. Then we're going to use a little wire. I have this alligator clip wire. It's one wire, and we're going to complete the circuit by connecting the negatives together. And what that does is it puts a little charge into the other cell and resets the circuit. So hard to do. There we go. Oh. There we go. So hopefully, if I did this right, there we go. And I'm going to hold it there for about 10 seconds or so. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that should reset the protection circuit, and now we should be getting a voltage out of that KeepPower that was triggered off. So let's see. Ta-da! 3.04543. So it did take a little bit of a charge when I did that to it, but it did reset it. As you can see, it now is actually giving out off a voltage. So next test that I'm going to do with this is overcharge, see where that cuts off, and then of course I'm going to reset it with using my charger. This, not the basic way I just showed you, but whatever way you want to reset the protection circuit. I just showed you how to do it manually. You can do it with a charger, and you can do it with a standard charger as well. I've set up a program here to overcharge the cell to trigger the protection circuit, hopefully. I'm going to hit start here. And let's watch the voltage go up. And you can see the meter there as well, checking the voltage. It's a little different than what I have on the screen. I got 4.35 on the screen, 4.37 on the meter. So they're close. And there we go. We have the connection error. You see the voltage on the meter went way up to 10 volts. I believe that's residual energy in the charger. So we'll let that trickle down to 4.2 or whenever it stabilizes. I'm going to hit OK here on the screen. Hit stop. And you'll see here when it hits around 4.2 something that it stabilizes there, 4.30. So I'm going to hit start again. And as you can see, by letting the voltage drop to 4.2 whatever, 4.25 or 4.30, it resets the actual protection circuitry. So the program wouldn't run again if it was still open, because it would give me the connect error check main port thing again. So again, you can see here that it failed again, and it failed at 4.35 volts according to the program. So basically, the overcharge circuit is working. When you go over 4.35 volts, it just triggers and shuts off. Okay, now protection circuitry is not meant to actually act as a regulator for a charger. Your charger should actually not allow it to be overcharged to 4.35. It actually shouldn't even allow it to go to 4.20 really. My Nicore Intelligent i4 only charges them up to 1.18 at the most that I've seen. So it never actually hits 4.20. So it shouldn't overcharge. So I think the protection circuit is there as a safety feature more than anything else. So it's working fine on undercharge, and it's working fine on overcharge. The next thing to do is to check it on. We'll do a short test. We'll short it out and see if the protection circuit actually, wrecks or kills the circuit. Next, I'm going to test the short circuit protection. I'm going to short the battery and see if it does anything to the battery or the leads or the wires going to it. Currently, as you can see, I got 4.3 volts on that battery. Meter's still hooked up. I'm going to jump these two banana leads, which are banana plug leads, which are connected directly to that holder. So I'm just going to short them here. And straight down to 0. The wires aren't getting hot. I didn't even see any real sparking there. So I'm holding them down there, and if this was short-circuited, then I would say the leads would be getting hot at this point. They're not even close to warm. So let go, and there you can see that we go right back to 4.30 volts. If it was actually short-circuited, that would be a lot lower than what it is right there, because it would have dumped a lot of its energy, probably into the wires and into warming them up a lot. So let's try it again. Straight to 0 almost instantly. And back to 4.3 volts. So yeah, the short circuit protection is obviously working. Okay, little blip there to 4.29 there, but let's try it again. There you go, 4.30. It's obviously cutting off the circuit, because otherwise that voltage would be low and these wires would be a lot hotter than they are right now. So the short circuit protection on the actual cell seems to be working just fine. I'm going to attempt to over amperage the cell. You know, the only program I could find that would do it would be the PB charge that I'm using right here, and that's a lead acid charge at 10 amps. So let's hit the start on this. There we go. Amperage is climbing quickly. Voltage is staying at 3.546 volts. And I believe the protection circuit should kick in at 10 amps. Unfortunately, my charger's maximum amperage is 10 amps as well, so I'm not sure whether it's going to trigger or not. Oh, there we go. You can see the curve of the line on the amperage dipping, and we're at 3.62 volts, so it's not over voltaging, because that would be over 4.5 volts. So wait here again, see if it happens again. 3.62 volts. There we go again. So yeah, it's happening over and over again. It gets to a certain amperage, 10 something, just over 10 amps, and then the protection circuit just cuts the circuit, and then of course the charger is still applying a charge, which resets the circuit back again, and we go through the same process over and over again. Now I don't want to do any more nasty things to this cell than I've already done to it. It actually is working perfectly, as you can see here on the screen, and you know, I'm happy with the performance. That's it for my review on the KeepPower 3400 milliamp cell, protected cell. I have no problem recommending this cell. It actually delivers exactly what they say it's going to deliver, 3400 milliamps. Actually, it delivers a little bit more. The protection circuit works just as it should, perfectly. And, you know, it's a good value at just over $10 each on this 3400 milliamp cell. So no problem at all recommending it. If you want one of these from where I bought it, just look in the video description below, and I'll put a link there for the seller that sold me this one at Amazon. Very happy with it. As always, if you like this video and it helped you out in some way, do me a favor, click on the like button here in the bottom right hand corner and give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that, and it helps my video and helps my actual channel as well. Also, somewhere on the screen here, you'll see a picture of me. That's the subscription link. All you got to do is click on that, and it'll subscribe you to my channel. Once you subscribe to my channel, every time that I release a new video, you'll get a notification, and then you can click on the link and go and watch the video. Once again, like always, I want to thank you all for watching and for your time.